Hello, lovely. It is Wednesday, so I am uploading a new video. However, um, so your girl does not have an Apple anything. And apparently the PC, the Droid, is not really set up for the video content creating. So I guess at some point I'm gonna have to come to Team Apple. But meanwhile, I'm trying to optimize by seeing if I can upload directly from my phone. So I'm doing that this time instead of the hours it takes to try to put it on the computer and upload it to YouTube. And they won't let me be great. They just won't do it yet because they really have no choice. You can't stop it. You can't stop it. Hey, how's everybody? It's midweek. I hope the week is going great. This is it's a healing 101, but what I did was delve into what we talked about on last week with the sour grapes. So essentially, I shared a story of when I exhibited the issue or the thing that I was talking about. So basically, a recap is made a decision based on something that someone did that hurt me. And I went with that decision for, I have to say, decades, like at least 15 years, maybe 20. And I never used current information to adjust how I should respond. I just went with, no, this is what I do now because of this one thing that happened. So not only did I let the incident happen, hurt me, but I continued to let it impact my life for, a long time. So what I want to talk about is really how I went about turning that thing around. So it wouldn't be my set point. It wouldn't be my ground zero, my neutral. My what's the wording I'm talking about? It wouldn't be my unconscious response. There's a specific word for that, but it's not coming to me. If it comes to me, I will share it. So basically, it needs to be analyzed for what it actually was. So the first thing is you have to accept that what someone does to you, it's not personal. I know it seems like it is. But think about this. This is going to be a hard one. You're the villain in someone's story. Yeah, you. You have done something that someone is holding in their mind as this thing that you intentionally did to harm or hurt them. And potentially, this is a person that you loved and cared for. And they think that you did this action to harm or hurt them. But in reality, you just at the time weren't focused on how that would hurt them or harm them. I mean, there are things that people do to be a-holes or whatever, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about times when you didn't try to hurt the person, but you were going through your own thing at the time, or just you responded based on past experience, pain, whatever you want to call it. And you harmed or hurt someone that you really love. Moms, we've done it to our kids. I know. Hey, don't it sound messed up to even think that as a mother? Because when we are children, or even as adult children, and our parents do something that hurt us, we have that speech within ourselves that we will never do that to our children. Guess what? You've hurt your child. You in your perfect momdom have done something that hurt your child. Even if when they explain it to you, you're like, what? Get out of here. But inside, you can't tell someone how something feels to them. So I gave all this background, not so you can soak up in this and say like, oh, I hurt someone. Get that out of here. Knock it off. That's not what we're doing. It is so you could see it from the other person's perspective and accept that sometimes people do things to hurt or harm you and they can really love you, but they just are where they are at the time. That's it. It's not personal. It's not personal. So once you accept that it's not personal, then you can think to yourself like, okay, if I take the spotlight off of projecting my anger and hurt onto this person, why did you do this to me? Instead of that, switch it all the way around and say, why did this hurt me? What about this hurt my feelings? Because generally, people only hurt us when they trigger something that is within us. So, for instance, if you have an issue about something in your physical appearance and someone says something about that, it really hurts. Guess why? Because you feel that way. And so they just came and dug that up, right? Okay, same thing. But here's the flip side of that. If you think you're cute, this is where that saying comes from. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Because when I'm cute or I'm feeling myself, it don't matter what nobody else say. It don't hurt my feelings because obviously their eyes aren't working. I'm cute. So think of it in that terms. People only come and trigger what's already there. So then look at that. Let's look at that. So there are things that we don't like about ourselves that are triggered by another person. So I use the example of I told someone something that was a secret and that something I was kind of ashamed of. And then they brought it back up later. So basically, they reiterated the fact that I had something to be ashamed of. But if I wasn't ashamed of it, or if I had healed or accepted that shame, then it wouldn't matter to me. You see what I'm saying? Kind of like how, for those of us in the culture, kind of how Biggie talked about himself before anybody else could. He called himself black, fat, nasty, whatever. So if somebody else came and said that, it don't mean nothing. He already has said that. You see what I'm saying? So when someone has said something that has really hurt us, then generally it's because we're still holding on to a judgment about ourselves with that thing. Okay. So that's step one. Identify why you felt hurt. And then sit with that emotion. Remember, we did that a couple of weeks ago. You know how to do this. You really, really do. So sit with the emotion of it. Let it tell you what it's telling you. And something like, if you're ashamed of something, you need to forgive yourself. And perhaps you need to ask someone to forgive you. Maybe not. Or maybe it is you do something symbolic to ask for forgiveness because the person is no longer around. You write a letter asking for forgiveness, read it aloud, and then dispose of it. It doesn't necessarily have to be you're touching the actual person to make amends. If you feel led to do that, yes, but it's not necessarily required. What is required is you release the energy of it. And the other person may not even still be thinking about it or holding on to it. So you have to just, know within yourself whether this is something you need to speak to the other person about. Okay. So once you have healed the hurt of it, then that thing is benign. It has no power over you anymore. Nothing. It has no power over you. Like the good witch told Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. So after that, it's a neutral point. If someone says that same thing about you again, you're like, you don't feel up, you don't feel down. It just is what it is. It's not good, bad. It's just neutral. It's nothing. It doesn't trigger you anymore. Okay. So then, if this same thing happens again, there will still be the memory that the last time I did this is what happened on the front end. So the person hasn't even done the same thing yet. You're just in the assumptive mode that they will. So you have to trust yourself that you've made a good judgment about this person that you're thinking of sharing this information with. You made a good judgment and they feel safe to you. If they don't feel safe, you got to trust your inner self. Trust your, they say your gut feeling, or mine is like a heart feeling, but I know a lot of people feel it in their stomach. Like, you know, if someone is shade tree operations, and you know if it's you being afraid that everybody is shade tree. It's not always that person, but you got to be able to discern what's your instinct and what's your history. Okay. So once you are able to trust your instinct, you also have to trust source, trust the Most High, trust Allah, whatever you call the life, the force of life, of spirit, of everything that is, whatever you call it. Jesus, shout out to JC. No, not trying to offend any of my friends who are Christians, but I love him too. So I call him that in a friend kind of homey way. But whoever is who you call upon, you have to trust that the last time this happened to you, even if you did make a mistake in giving someone the benefit of the doubt, even if you just don't quite have your discernment together yet, you have to trust that the last time it happened, you didn't die. You're still here. So you can make this decision this next time. You didn't die. Whatever it was, you became better and stronger because of it, because you healed something, right? So now you're better on the other side of that. You got whatever lesson from it. So actually, you can be grateful to the person that you were holding a grudge upon. And then you have to accept that the Most High, the source, has your best interest in mind. It's not trying to harm or hurt you. So whatever happens, you'll be okay. And that you have to trust your source with that. Then you will trust others. That is the final stage. You don't trust others first. You trust yourself first. You trust the Most High second. And then that allows you to trust others, because you see that within every person, whether they acknowledge it or not, the creative force that is this universe has made them and is a part of their being, right? So that means there's a part of them that is trustworthy. Yes, there will be times when people prove themselves not, but that is because they went against their nature, not because you shouldn't trust anyone, right? Okay, so that's the recap to that. So this is Healing 101 on sour grapes, or making one decision and the negative outcome of that impact how you move going forward without healing that, okay? All right, so I know you can do this. I know you can. And so you just have to know it. All right. And I'm telling you, we'll talk about all the times that I have been in disastrous situations and responded horribly, and how I had to, go through it and figure out how to work through these things. So you'll know, like, I'm not just telling you something. This is something that I have gone through and experienced many, many times, right? Okay, so you know what I'm going to ask you to do, because I ask you to do it every time. Live, love, and thrive until I see you again. All right? Okay, bye.